Welcome back here at Dreamhack Summer 2011, and I'm sitting with Idra, no one else than Idra, I guess one of the best Zergs in the world, especially if you count out the non-Koreans. First time Dreamhack, how do you like it, at least a part of the Invitational?
It's been pretty good so far. Some things I don't like. I was really jet lagged yesterday, so I just kind of played my matches and went home and slept, so I can't really comment yet.
A lot of people and a lot of players tell that, and I wonder, like, at this level, why don't you come a day earlier?
It's up to my team. They booked the flights and they booked it for today, or for 2 days ago, right before it. So
it happens. You have to deal with it. At least you qualified for the playoffs. You got second in group. Tell me, how did the group stage go?
I played really badly. I have no idea how I got through. I lost to Mers. The first game I won a macro game, then he rushed Cloak Banshee after Reactor Hellion and did enough damage to kill me. And then the third game I just made a terrible attack as he was pushing me, so I lost that. And I beat Nama because he just cheeses and I managed to hold it off. Beat Grubby, just like nothing special. Then lost to Sase pretty easily, and then beat Cass. First game I think it was a macro game. Second game he just played pretty well on Zelnaga, and that's the worst CVT map. And then on Crevasse, he left his depots down as I was attacking him. But it didn't really matter because he was going pure Marine medevac, and I had a bunch of Banelings. There was no way he could have held the army off. And one of the depots was red health anyway, so it looked silly that he left the depots down, but it didn't really matter.
Alright, and now for the playoffs, there's a lot of excellent, good players here. A couple of Koreans, Bomber that demolished pretty much his group. What are your expectations of the playoffs?
I want to avoid the Protosses. Actually, I just watched Bomber play Heypro, and he looked definitely not invincible. Heypro beat him pretty handily on Zelnaga, which isn't the best CVT map. And Heypro, he opted for some kind of Ling Baneling pressure in the third game on Metalopolis and just kind of threw it away, so it's hard to judge from that. But on Zelnaga, Bomber definitely looked beatable. I would not particularly fear him. Like, he's an excellent player, and I wouldn't consider myself the favorite in that match, but I definitely think I could beat him. But against the Protosses, especially MC or Naniwa, I don't want to play them. I'm still bad versus Protoss.
So there's been a new style we just talked about, like Ling Baneling investors. You're currently still playing a Roach, Hydra, and drops. Why?
Ling Baneling is good for beating bad Protosses. It forces you to multitask, but the big strength is just it lets you spread out your opponent and it nullifies some of the easier timings. So, like, yeah, if you're playing a Protoss who lets you Baneling drop their mineral lines, or who will attack into it, there's a period of time where your production really kicks in, you get a ton of Ling Baneling before they really have the invincible army, and if they attack at that time, then you destroy them. But against a good Protoss, they just keep Blink Stalkers in the mineral lines, shut down the drops, and turtle that invincible army, and especially with Storm, and Ling Baneling, even with a bunch of infested support, doesn't touch that. And it doesn't really address the problems of ZVP. It's just good for beating Protosses who shouldn't be winning anyway.
That is a good thing, at least, especially if you consider me being a low-level Zerg Moss player. So there's been a lot of tries with new styles to beat CVP. You still say that you don't want to play a Protoss. Is it still? Do you think is it still an issue of finding the right style or play, or do you think it's a balance issue?
Now the matchup's still imbalanced. Turtle Protoss is still too strong. There's lots of timings that are really powerful too, but if Zerg either guesses right or manages to scout it, they can hold it off at an advantage. So I don't know if I'd call that imbalance. I think it's poor game design, but it's okay. But no, Turtle Protoss, Blinkstalker based with a little Colossus support into Templar, it's overpowered.
It's overpowered, so... Well, if we look at the last interview with Blizzard done by JP with David Kim, I think David. He mentioned only like the Brood Lord investor being a bit strong versus Terran, nothing about CVP. Regarding the Brood Lord investor, do you agree with him?
David Kim's incompetent. Terrans need to make ghosts; they'll have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, that's what that makes sense, but. Incompetent. He's the main guy regarding balance at Blizzard, and if I recall my right, he's officially a random player, but he plays Terran, right?
I don't actually know.
Moving on. Regarding you're doing a lot of stuff at the moment in the community. Play a lot of tournaments. In which tournaments you're currently playing? You have your NSL playoffs that you qualified for the finals, right?
No, I lost in the final match.
You lost in the final match. I'm sorry. First, who did you lose?
Zenio.
And is that already aired?
Yeah.
And that's already aired. And what happened? Because I saw the first playoff match, and you did a six pool or something.
No. Oh, that was the seeding match. Yeah, a six pooled show, and then Nada bunker rushed me, but that was just for seeds.
So you didn't care about the seed.
No, I wanted the ninth seed. So I threw the game versus show, and then I tried to beat Nada, but he bunker rushed me, and I didn't hold it well.
All right, so too bad about the NSL. Any other tournaments you're currently in?
I'm Dreamhack, and then I play in the Home Story Cup in a few days. IPL, the big American league. It's not only American anymore, it's international. I'm in IPL still. That hasn't started broadcasting yet, we're just playing it now. And I was in a smaller TT Esports tournament, but I think I ended up forfeiting that because I'm in Europe for like 2 weeks. And that should be it for now.
That should be it. How are you enjoying? I mean, StarCraft 2 has been up and running now for 1.5 years, I guess. Did you have any vacation in the meanwhile?
Well, it's a pretty relaxed life in general, except for at the tournaments. So I don't have time to actually go and take an actual vacation for a week, but it's a pretty good life. You have to play 1 or 2 matches a day, maybe, or go and do a show or whatever. But besides that, your time is pretty much your own, and you do have to practice, but I control my own practice schedule. So, no, I don't have actual time to go on a vacation, or I would have to budget time for it. But
stupid guys.
Yeah, but no, it's fine.
All right. And did you bring your girlfriend to Dreamhack?
No, she still has work and stuff.
What did she do?
She's a social media analyst.
And she's doing also video interviews with some of the professional players I saw.
No, she was interviewed by some people at MLG, but she's not involved in esports at all.
Okay. Coming back to MLG, I saw, I think one of your managers or of one of the guys from EG, he tweeted like something like, should Idra have a special contract where he's not allowed to GG prematurely? What about it?
What about it?
Did your manager talk about it? What happened at MLG?
He just says, you should stay longer, you should work on that.
And are you going to change your... Did anything change after MLG versus the MMA game?
That was a stupid situation. You can't count on your opponent killing their own command center. Yeah, I should have stayed longer, but that's a 1 in a million kind of thing.
Do you... Like, if you watch it, the results of Columbus, a lot of Zerg players made it to the top. What's your opinion about that? Because you said in a previous interview that it had mainly to do with seedings and just good Zergs being there. Today, if we look at the groups, it's again a lot of Protoss that qualified. Only 1 Terran until now, maybe a second probably in the white group stage, but only 1 Terran. And if we watch at the GSL Super Tournament, there's only Terrans. So what's your current situation about balance in the game and if we look at the results?
I think Terran is probably the strongest overall. I feel that ZVP is the hardest matchup for me. A lot of Zergs... I think most Zergs would agree that ZVP is harder than ZVT right now, and generally I believe Zerg is still weak. ZVT right now is playable, but only because Terrans don't make ghosts. And looking at tournaments results to talk about balance is absolutely retarded. I mean, I do it, but that's just because it's a good way to pander to the community. If you actually want to talk about balance, you should look at the gameplay, take into account the relative skill of the players and all that. It's just... people don't do that. But no, if you look at the actual gameplay, Zerg is still pretty weak. Terran is the most solid overall, and Protoss is quite powerful in certain situations, but also very fragile.
Regarding, you got the Home Story Cup coming up next week. It's kind of a chill-out tournament with a lot of people, a lot of pro players relaxing. Do you like those kind of tournaments?
I haven't actually been to anything really like the Home Story Cup yet, especially not StarCraft 2. Everything has just been pretty much formal LANs. I've watched some of the stream in the past at the past Home Story Cups, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I'm really happy I get to attend. But no, I haven't done anything like that before.
All right, that's going to be a lot of fun, I guess. What do you expect here at the event, how the Koreans are doing for the playoffs? Because the Koreans, well, they dominated Columbus. Everyone says like about Koreans, like they're not invincible, but then again they keep on winning. And what do you consider? Who's gonna be able to win versus the Koreans? A part of you in the playoffs? Do you think here at Dreamhack?
Well, 3 of the Koreans looked kind of invincible at MLG, but they were also 3 of the best players in the world, Korean or not. Moon and July definitely looked invincible there, and they're doing so here. I haven't seen all the results, but I know July dropped a game to Thorzane and definitely could have lost the series. And I believe Moon dropped a game to Tarson. I didn't see that at all, so I don't know. And Bomber just dropped a game to Heypro, and he got thoroughly outplayed, and it was like a long macro game, and he had an advantage, and Heypro came back. So, no, the Koreans are the better players on the whole. They're not invincible, and there are certainly some foreign players who are better than almost all of the Korean players.
Who, for example, would you consider in Europe and the US capable of playing on that level?
Myself and Sen, maybe Rhett. He hasn't been practicing too much, but he still looked really impressive yesterday.
And his NASL like being ranked first, that's quite amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And then possibly White Raw when he's on. He's very up and down. So I haven't seen how he's playing yet today, but if he's on form, he's one of the best. There's other players, but they don't really come to mind.
Okay, cool. I think that's it. Oh yeah, one more thing. What I find at the show that you're doing, In Control said that it might come to a day that a Korean will move to Europe or to America to play in all those all those tournaments. Since like GSL with the format, it's kind of long, and if you're out, you have a long downtime. Do you really see that happening one day?
It's hard to say because even though GSL has a long downtime, you would have to give up GSL completely, and Koreans are big on national pride and all that kind of thing. Winning GSL is always going to be the most important thing to a Korean player, I'd imagine. If someone actually moves outside and focuses